So we have alignment coming up. So right now I just wanted to make sure my lateral links were equal length. Gotta find some cardboard or something to lay on. I just have a measuring tape, my crescent wrenches. Just need to make sure those are exactly right. And I do have the correct bushings from Whiteline. They did send me those out. Right here, I was needing a 30 millimeter. I had two 25s in it. So I'm gonna throw these in right now, and hopefully I have like enough copper anti-seize on the other one. I kind of went OD with the anti-seize for the grease for the bushings on there. So we got to get these swapped in. Also, that's on the front. Right now, tape measure, two crescent wrenches right here, and I have some masking tape. I'm just going to write on the rear lateral link for our toe adjustment, so that way when they do the alignment, because I have those toe lockout bolts, they know which one to adjust for toe. Camber wise, when I go in, I'm going to ask them just more camber in the front, so more negative in the front than the rear. Just a hair, not much. If they can't get that, at least have it as close as possible, just so we can kind of get rid of like some understeer, have it like turn in a little better. That's the goal, and 0 for the toe is what I'm aiming for. But yeah, let me get to it. It's pretty simple. Adjust. I'm gonna measure. I'm gonna try to make it need a pen. I had a pen. Threw a pen in here. We got a pen. I'm gonna write down the measurements. I want each lateral link to be equal length right now. The camera's a little far. Equal length right now for our starting point, and then just write that down so you can remember. You could get it to kind of, what is it, what's the measurement I'm thinking of? The track. You could expand the track, but we're not going to worry about that. In the front one, I believe they could adjust it. You could get like the camber to kind of coincide with the lateral links, but my main thing is I want to make sure our toe is straight in the back. Toe camber wise in the back, eventually when I get some coilovers, I'll probably get like top mounts for that. You can get like camber bolts to put in the back also, but for simple alignment, just a starting point for what it is, it's still daily, so we don't need like a crazy aggressive adjustment for our alignment. Just something to kind of get us going so we don't eat up tires. That's the main thing, and still to have a little bit of fun. So it's daily / fun / possible autocross. But right now, enough yapping. Get to it, get this situated so I can get out of here before the rain comes down. I've been lucky today, but we don't know if my luck will run out. And this is also a good opportunity to go through and recheck your tightness for your bolts. For our sway bars, you can see we did have a little lateral movement. That's where I have like some lockout little rings that go on the sway bars to keep them from sliding side to side. At least kind of have like a 1/4 inch in between, because this slide right here, that's like a good 3/4 of an inch slide that we have. So that will eliminate that. It'll keep our sway bars in place, especially like for the rear. There's not really too much movement like side to side turning wheels. It's up and down, but like to catch that, yeah, we can do that. And also anti-seize on everything to make life easy for everybody. Hopefully I won't really need to adjust too much. I was just going to check our measuring tape up here and see if everything is within spec of closeness to each other. All right, and I put toe on that just to help. Supposedly we could adjust camber with this arm, but I'm hoping a camber will be good how it is, and we don't need to adjust. And hopefully I have like my arm set where the rear probably doesn't really need too much adjustment other than the toe. But could be wrong. You could take your guesses down below in the comment section. You could kind of guess if my alignment or my eyeball measurements and tape measurements were good enough to kind of get it close to factory spec. But yeah, so if need be, toe adjustment right here. We could have our inner outer, like you could adjust these arms to make our track wider, so you have a wider stance, but you do have to take in consideration your axles also. You don't want to stretch those out too far past their max and just put strain on that and mess up your axles. So you have to keep that in consideration. But like this will kind of help a little bit, like if you do have like different axles like STI. I'm not too sure if we'll be able to have enough adjustment on these to get those axles aligned correctly with the lateral links that we have. But then we do have like a little bit of our camber could be adjusted with this, but then you need to worry about your trailing arms putting too much flexion on those also. So we could do camber on here also, just a little bit if need be, to get everything in spec. But yeah, just help them put toe on this one, because that's the one I think we're really gonna have to adjust. I could write camber on here. It falls right under our shock, so kind of do like the same thing as if our shock was doing our adjustment, like we got that top bolt, a camber bolt. We can make that happen, but I don't have that, so yeah. But anyways, let me get to the front. I have to adjust our rack to our steering wheel. I did take that out. I need to turn it like a little bit of tooth, because I want to make sure when they do our alignment and they put the wheel center, we have the same amount of turn lock to lock each way, left to right. So I need to get that situated and get that bushing put in, and that's it. And luckily our bushing on our rack is the easy one to get to, not the one right under our steering column. But yeah. All right, and then I have the tape on here on the steering wheel just so we can see our center line. The wheel is cocked this way to get exactly center, so we have equal lock to lock. I need to disconnect the column from below and turn the stem counterclockwise, facing this way. If I'm facing that way, clockwise. But like the steering wheel needs to sit like so to get equal lock to lock. So I just need to remove that when I actually have to do the bushing. So I'm gonna unbolt the rack so I have some room to play. 10mm, I believe, on the steering column itself. Get that slid out, and then just turn the wheel just a little bit, just so that way like it's perfectly centered. But yeah. All right, and I have the correct bushings now. Before I came with two of the 25s. There's a 25 and a 30. I need a 30. I put the 25 in just to make it work, so it's in there, but it's not correct. That could be thrown off my steering wheel also. But there are two separate part numbers on them. So you just have to make sure you verify by measuring. These are also greaseless, so I don't have my anti-seize with me, so I don't need it, but like I'm still gonna try to get a little bit on there. Just don't want it squeaky, but like you could see, like inside they kind of have it designed so you shouldn't need grease. There's like a couple different designs, greaseless and greased ones. But anyways, enough of that yapping. These are the easy ones to get to. I'm gonna get that taken out, get these thrown in, get our rack set, and we'll be good for our alignment for tomorrow. That's the old one. This is the new one. That's the difference in thickness. All right, so I have it disconnected. As you can see, wheels are up against the ramps. So right now, our steering wheel, what we're gonna do that. And I'm gonna change my gloves, but that's what I'm gonna do. Just get that center and then put it back on. The wheels haven't moved. If you put them up against that, they'll keep them in place. So I have that. So I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna get the rack centered where I want it. I'm changing my gloves so I don't like get the steering wheel greased up. But yeah, once I do that, we'll put it back in, and then everything should be straight, and then we'll go get our alignment, and I'll get everything bolted back up, and just double check your tightness of everything, because I was taking the rack bolts out and they weren't really tight. So it's always good practice. Go through, even after you drive for a while, just go through and recheck your torque specs, or your bolts to torque specs, or your specs, you know what I'm talking about. Just make sure you don't have any loose bolts. But let me get that situated, and then when we get our alignment, I'll show you my little sheet of like the specs and like the outcome of it, if they're able to do everything with like the upgraded parts. Some places are a little finicky about that, but we shall see. Yeah. So we're back from my alignment. They did a very good job for what they had to work with. Just definitely when you go get alignments at certain places, they don't really want to touch like aftermarket type stuff, even though like sometimes it can make life a little easier, since you already know like the stuff's not seized up and rusted. You have fresh new stuff that's installed, it's tight. But anyways, for our alignment, I'm looking at it right now. We have our before up top. You see the red. What I actually was trying to get the toe as close to 0. I wanted the toe zeroed out and match the camber in the rear, if not make it more negative. But like, that's the max they could do. They could have tried to take some camber out of the rear, but I didn't want them to do that. You can see my numbers right there. Steering wheel is straight now. It wasn't previous, and that was what I had before. Tried to get a guesstimate when I installed like the rear stuff. So everything is kind of like close to being lined up for the rear. The front, definitely we had to play with that with the tie rod ends. I could never get like those like perfect. So the tie rod ends, ball joints in the front. So the main thing in the front was the toe. Camber wasn't too far off from original. Like, the only thing really needed to worry about was the toe. Caster did get adjusted when I put the new rear control arm bushings in. I didn't do a measurement beforehand, but that supposedly is a gain over what was before. The more caster, the better for a straight line. So I'm pleased with what I have right now. Just to begin with, it's always good to just have like a nice base. So if I do like coilovers in the future, I do camber plates, stuff like that, we should be fine. Where everything is aligned. And if I do drop, I believe the orientation or the order is supposed to go into your alignment is camber, caster, toe. So if I touch the camber, I'm gonna need to go get like the toe adjusted again. But at least like that'll be easier for them. Like if I need to just kind of like camber wise to get like the tires to fit without rubbing, and kind of eyeball it. So we could adjust that, and then at least like we could go if they don't want to touch like camber plates and stuff like that. And I did get the 3-year unlimited alignments. It was 178 and change, and that was with tax, Goodyear. So for 3 years, same vehicle, I could go in, if I change whatever, I could go get my alignment done, versus having to pay like each time you go. So that's definitely good if you plan on having things done to your suspension. Find a place like that. Somebody quote me the same price for one alignment, so keep that in mind. But the car handles, it feels great. I've taken turns a little quicker than I normally would. I haven't heard any tire squeal or rub. We're at factory ride height, factory struts. The only thing is just like the bushings and everything is tighter, and it just feels good. So I want it for a daily, nothing like too obnoxious. Still can have some fun, still have a good time, but still wouldn't mind driving the vehicle. Like if it's just extra, just loud and the notches and just like solid mounted. Definitely wouldn't be fun to drive every day. I guess I'm getting up there in age where I care about comfort and miles per gallon. But anyways, that's what I got for today. We are at right now, I need tint. Just to make it like the AC works great in here, but just kind of like you don't want like that stuff wearing, like your leather and stuff starts to crack, or your pleather or vinyl, whatever it is, starts to crack, especially an older vehicle. Dashboards no crack. I don't think like the dash, these are really prone for cracking, but I guess anything is possible. But definitely want some tint in here. But that's all I have. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, all that great stuff. But anyways, peace, TJ.